These penguins, why do they captivate us so much? Diary entries swooned with accolades of their human-like qualities. Emil Rakovica, a Romanian biologist on Gerlache's Belgica expedition in 1897, thought of them as little old men with small heads and very plump bodies. As to their personalities, Louis Gain, the lead biologist on Jean-Baptiste Charcot's second French Antarctic expedition in 1909, was totally captivated by the bravery of Adelie penguins, who fought hard to maintain their nests and protect their chicks. He found them to be curious and unruly, and very anthropomorphically described them as chatterboxes and blusterers. Murray Levick, on Captain Scott's Terra Nova expedition, said, "No one of us whose privilege it was to be there will forget our first sight of penguins. We saw this little Adelie penguin hurrying to meet us. 'Great Scott,' they seemed to say, 'what's this?' And soon we could hear the cry which we shall never forget. 'Ark, ark,' they said, and full of wonder and curiosity, and perhaps a little out of breath, they stopped every now and then to express their feelings, and to gaze and cry and wonder to their companions." And while our fascination with these marquee creatures continues, penguins also have become our beacon into the 21st century and beyond. The signals they're sending suggest what might happen to us humans on an increasingly warming planet. By getting to know penguins better, we learn more about ourselves and can understand better the choices we perhaps face. There are 17 penguin species worldwide, from the diminutive palm-sized little penguin in Australia and New Zealand to the enormous 4.5-foot tall, 65-pound or 30-kilogram emperor penguin of the Antarctic. 5 species breed on and around the vast Antarctic continent. The emperor, found only in Antarctica and which has an estimated breeding population of 200,000 to 250,000 pairs. The macaroni, noted by its wild hairstyle. Remember the song lyric, "Stuck a feather in its cap and called it macaroni"? Many million pairs of macaronis breed on islands north of the Antarctic Peninsula, but fewer than 100 pairs are estimated to be breeding in the Antarctic proper. Then there's the boisterous rowdy chinstrap, found only in the Antarctic Peninsula, with an estimated worldwide breeding population of 7 to 8 million pairs. Next, the black and white tuxedoed Adelie, which is a circumpolar Antarctic breeder with an estimated breeding population of 2 to 3 million pairs. And finally, the 3-foot-tall gentoo penguin, with an estimated worldwide breeding population of 300,000 to 400,000 pairs, more than a quarter of which breeds in the Antarctic Peninsula. The last 3, chinstraps, Adelies, and gentoos, are a main focus of Oceanites' Antarctic Site Inventory project. Scientifically, these 3 are known as the pygocelid, or brush-tailed penguins, all of which have long spiky tails. In winter, the Adelies and chinstraps are known to undertake long migrations north, Adelies to the edge of the pack ice, chinstraps to the open water beyond. And while the gentoos may migrate, if there's any open water available, and that seems to be happening more and more in the Antarctic, they may overwinter south. Adelies and chinstraps in the Antarctic Peninsula prefer a diet of krill, the small, highly nutritious form of shrimp, while gentoos have a more varied diet of both krill and fish. Among the 3, Adelies can swim the longest distances to find food, while gentoos are the deepest divers. These penguins are incredible diving and swimming machines, who are totally waterproofed and built for an incredibly rugged life. Penguins live and thrive in the coldest climate on Earth. That's because of their sleek body shape and dense feathering, which allows them to find food and maintain a warm body temperature. In fact, they have the densest feather arrangement of any bird, up to 90 feathers per square inch. They even have a small blubber layer, like marine mammals. Staying waterproofed is key. They're constantly preening their feathers. In addition, they regularly dip bills into their uropygial, or oil gland, located at the base of their tail, and then rub that oil into their feathers. In late October and early November in the Antarctic Peninsula, as the penguins' hormones begin to run, they race back to their breeding territories. Another nesting season is underway. While gentoos can be an exception, in general, these three penguin species return to the islands and coastlines where they were born to breed themselves, and, once established, return to the same nest sites from season to season. It's an amazing cycle to witness. Beginning with a furious swim and rush back home, and the male penguin displaying on site to find its mate from the previous season, or to find a new mate if the first doesn't return. Then, gathering stones to fortify their nest, as well as maintaining a bit of distance from, though occasionally battling with, neighbors. Copulating. Then the eggs. The brush-tailed penguins generally lay 2 eggs, which are incubated for more than a month. And finally, hatching. It takes 8 weeks for adelies and chinstraps, 12 for gentoos, to raise their chicks and for the chicks to then head to sea on their own. Both the male and female penguins share incubation equally. There are frequent changeovers. While one parent incubates, the other heads off to sea to find food and bring it home. In some seasons, krill, the peninsula penguin's favored protein-rich power lunch, is abundant. In some seasons, it's much harder to find. During the first 2 weeks of life, the chicks are guarded very closely by the adults. The chicks encourage their parents to feed by wiggling their bills and peeping. This continues for the chicks' first 4 weeks. Often, predator skuas harass the penguins, trying to steal their eggs or small chicks. Sometimes the skuas are successfully repulsed, sometimes not. At 4 to 5 weeks, the chicks leave home and begin to gather in creche groups, allowing both of their exhausted parents to go to sea and feed. From this point forward, there are many feeding chases, as the returning parents try to sort their own chicks from the throng. The chicks begin to lose their downy feathers, often with very funny feathery hairdos, and begin to look more and more like their parents. The day of reckoning comes, and the chicks head to sea, where they'll remain for the next 2 to 3 years. Up to 90% of each year's chicks may perish during this time. With chicks to sea, the parents finally can contend with their particular important needs, feeding and replenishing their own fat stores for the winter ahead, as well as going through a full body molt, replacing all of their feathers. The cycle concludes in late February and early March. What were once thriving, bustling colonies are now abandoned, with the penguins heading to the edge of the pack ice and to sea for the next 9 months. As the explorers told us, penguins are a privilege to encounter and a joy to behold, the essence of life itself. And yes, they do remind us of our own selves and our own precious existence in the cycle of life on our planet.